and that's the
Yeah.
tyranny of it, of business and the
Yeah.
government. When they work together like that, you're not going to have. You're going to be paying. Just for example, fuel efficiency. You get carbon credits and stuff. You get a more fuel efficient car. Or, you know, instead of driving a 1970s slab, like Cadillac or a Lincoln or something that's guzzling gas. Your insurance premiums are going to be higher. You're going to be paying more money in gasoline, and they make it to where they're going to force you to a corner to where you're just going to accept the stuff.
Let me ask you a question now. You're talking about fuel, and that's a good question right there. Okay, if it shows the computer shows, okay, you drive so many miles, and then if it starts to looking like the car is going through a, a change, that's the way I can put it, where it's starting to use more fuel but less miles, where it takes more fuel to go the same amount of distance than before after you reach to a certain amount of miles that you put it through. Now, will that go to the car manufacturer, the car lot that you bought the car from, as well, to where it shows that the maintenance, okay, like to where the insurance or and there's the secure, what you call it, warranty on it, to where they know all this stuff about the warranty and the condition of which you're how you're driving the vehicle.
Well, let me also point something out too. Whenever I was talking about disengaging the tracking stuff, if you go about doing that, you might as well take that warranty and just throw it out the freaking door. Just get
Yeah,
rid of it.
you mess with anything, your warranty's void.
It's
Yeah.
gone.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying if you don't mess with anything, but by you driving down the road and it seems like your car is after about 3 to 4 years starting to use a little bit too much fuel, and you didn't go and get a lot of maintenance done to your vehicle. All the information that what you haven't done or you have done, go where does it go to where like it gives the information better to the car dealership of
I don't
maintenance
necessarily
record.
think that. So what I'm thinking is just like what Roger said. There's going to be apps, and these apps might tell you. So okay. The lady I'm staying with, she has a hybrid Rav4, and it tells her. It has a little counter in the dashboard that tells her what her fuel efficiency is. She was complaining about it being 35 miles to the gallon. She said it should be getting 42. That's what it was when she bought it. It was 42.5 or something like that. And she's like, oh, I think I need to take this in. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, that's how they get you. That's how they get you. So there's going to be apps, just like Roger said, and they might give you suggestions. You should take your shop in for to be looked at, and then they're going to be looking at your data. They're going to look at your data, your the way you drive. It's going to make suggestions to you over and over, and it's going to give you the options to pay for this, pay for that. You're going to pay for a subscription to this thing that's going to think for you. And I mean, I don't think the dealership is going to be the major. It's not the bad guy. They're just a part of the system. But they're going to do all the stuff and make things more efficient for you to get to things closer, better routes. And this way they can start cramming us into these 15-minute cities, right?
Well, yeah. Well,
And everything goes from there.
yeah. Well, the thing of it is, what wouldn't be so bad as well with the little black box if the little black box works in the condition of what you call like me keep keep our check the engine itself. What you call like diagnostics. It does a diagnostic all on its own. The little black box to where it keeps an eye on when you do go into the garage. Okay, the little black box knows the things of what's showing up, coming close to failing or not failing, and what actually shape and what condition it is.
Well, you see, even there though, that's a rocky road because now they're coming out with this setup to where every time a car comes to a street light and it's red, it will shut the car off, and then when the car or when the light turns green, it will restart it. I think that's kind of overreaching. Like
Yeah,
that's people shouldn't have or companies or even manufacturers should not have the right to shut your car off because the stoplight is red. You know what I mean? I think that's really insane. So, I mean, even there, I think they're really overextending themselves in that aspect too.
Well, I don't think it'll be used like that because extenuating circumstances. Somebody may be a semi truck may be coming behind you, barreling in at 60 miles an hour. You're going to need to press the gas to get the hell out of the way. So unless all the cars are automated, I don't think they're going to be able to do that. However, they will use that kind of technology if, let's say, you have a warrant for your arrest. Cops will come and find you. If you're in a police chase, they'll just shut your car down. That sort of thing, that sort of fruition is the way I think it would be used. Somebody stealing your car, finds a way to get around the metrics in your system, whatever. They may have a bypass and shut down your car. These are the things that they will sell us on so that we take this technology. Now, it's going to be used in some very other nefarious ways, like assassinations, for example. Maybe they'll say he doesn't like you. He's going to tell your car to go drive off a cliff.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. And they were showing on the news a few months ago where these people are going around. One guy holds his hand up with an antenna up high up in the air above his head, above the car, and what it does is picks up the signal of the car for to be started. And there's a third person there get into the car and drive off with it, and the other two gets back in the original car and leaves. Now, for that situation there, what condition, what part of security does that fall under for the wireless systems in the car?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Yeah, that
Well,
Can you rephrase
like
it?
the signal from where it keeps the car from getting stolen, where they picked it up, they did, and they with that little black box, they have a way of popping the car open to get it going, started without it turning off.
well, that's what I was explaining to you about just a little while ago when it comes to how you can disconnect these devices and stuff. I mean, if you're a thief, yeah, you can do the same thing as what you would want to do if you didn't want to have these devices on your vehicle. It's just a matter of what you're. I mean, like if you're an owner who doesn't want to have these things installed or you want to have them connected, you do the same thing that a thief would do if they're wanting to steal your car. You see what I mean? It's
But they're gonna incentivize you to get this technology, and they're gonna punish you if you don't. I
right.
see. Like I see in the future of this sort of thing. They're gonna be rebuilding, making new highways and things like that. Yeah, sure, you'll be going 110 miles an hour if the computer's driving for you. Oh, you don't want that? Well, then you can stick to this dirt road over here and drive your archaic vehicle. Your
Also,
vehicle won't be allowed on the same road.
yeah.
See what I
What
mean?
about what about the new car, pan car they're talking about? How would that work with this new technology that they're coming, where the car supposedly drives down the road and wings comes out and flies into the air? You stop to think about uh, that. That's pretty. to me, that's pretty weird for a car to do that. But then with the technology, how or what would they would have to do completely different on that?
You talking George Jetson
Well, no,
flying
they
cars?
actually they got cars where you can fly. The cars can fly.
No,
Uh-huh.
those
They're high tech.
I've seen I've seen like there's videos on the internet. Now those you got to be careful because I've
Yeah.
been seeing those come out since well into like 2015 all the way up to now. They got like drones that are supposed to look like cars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And things of that nature. But I mean, a lot of that I've seen them on the internet as videos, but I've yet to see one in real life. So.
But when they do come out, how are they going? How that's going to work? When you talk about a vehicle, an
Well, that's
airplane, I mean, car, it's got that
If
ability.
if they give us if they give us flight like flying taxis and stuff like that, you're talking heavy regulations. I mean, Trump fired all the freaking I'm not making this political, but the traffic controllers. We have more planes going down now. The air traffic controllers can't handle the caseload because there's not as many of them as we're used to. That is just proving to be an example of how important it's going to be to actually have control over a secondary control over systems and anything that flies, because you have your liability. When you're just on the ground, that's one thing. That's a liability that is going to multiply because you're just worried about pedestrians and cars on the road. When you have the flying, you got buildings with citizens in them. You have property, land, reserves, things that cannot be destroyed, that shouldn't be destroyed, especially things that are part of infrastructure, power poles, cell towers, things like that. You will not be able, I see this coming, you will not be able to actually have full control over your own vehicles. Everything you do will be computer guided. You may have some, control, but your control will be guided. You won't be able to fully operate your vehicle at that point.
I was wondering, how would they, if when that day comes, that happens, how will they arrange this for what you call it when you go from like U.S. to Canada or U.S. to Mexico? What is, how would you would think that that would work in the process of this? Okay, like don't you have to
Well,
have? Hmm?
I'm pretty sure they will have, like if you're trying to run from the cops and trying to cross the border into Mexico or something, they're going to have things set up where they hit you with an EMP device or whatever. Depends on, if you packed your own vehicle and you're trying to take off somewhere you're not supposed to be in a restricted zone, I'm pretty sure they'll have the EMP pulse devices to make sure that you don't fly to the White House.
Yeah,
to
but
make
what
sure
I'm,
you don't fly. Uh-huh.
yeah.
Go ahead.
What I was more or less referring to is where when you go from one country to the other, and for all the computer stuff to be worked and then all that, ain't there like a attachment, that black box where like how they know that what's working and what's not if the car shuts down for some reason, they know why. But if you go into another
Well,
country, wouldn't that
uh,
happen because it's no longer what you call it working with another computer or however they do it?
no. So this will be controlled by corporations. This is not going to be a government control thing. If you're talking international travel, corporations don't recognize borders. You know what I mean?